Hello friends and welcome to the first official video of this channel. My name is Juan Carlos aka Johnny Bolt, and today I'm playing against my childhood friend Alex Moran, who is a local legend here in Guadalajara, Mexico. He is a very strong player and we were playing this little match for you. This is the game 1 and we started with the Karokan defense. We proceed to play the plan of attack. This is all theory. Usually when we play this kind of defense, we end up with an IQP, both sides, white and black. After the exchanges on the d5 square, we end up with an IQP. In this position I was a bit hesitant to enter this line. I didn't want to play an IQP pawn structure, but at the end I decided to play it anyway. And after that we just develop our pieces normally, as you will do in any opening. Basically the plan is the same in this kind of position, just develop the knight. And I proceed to develop my other knight, knight f3. So then he proceeded to develop his other knight, knight c6, and my plan was basically just finishing up my development. Basically this is an equal position. Black has reached equality, so neither side have any problem whatsoever. He developed his bishop, just bishop b6, and I just castle. Just put my king in a safer square. And he decided to castle as well. So after he castled, my plan was to just pin the knight. And then just to bring out my rook to c1. He finished his development, and I just bring up my rook to c1. He tried to harass my bishop a bit. I just moved, maintaining the pin, but this was the first moment where I have a little inaccuracy. I should have taken according with the machine, taken the knight and establish my knight in the center, and try to make the king a bit weak, because he has to harass my bishop further in order to not lose the knight. So basically this variation was better. Instead of that, I just retrieved the bishop to a4, and I allowed him to push me a little bit with his bishops. He tried to attack my rook and reposition his bishops to the center. I have to put the rook on e2. I wasn't so sure about it at all. Anyway, he blundered. According with the machines, queen d6 is not correct. The better line for him was to just double my pawns. And after all the exchanges, our mutual pawn structure were destroyed and the king is very weak. This position I blunder. I exchanged my bishop, and according with the machine, knight e5 was not correct. The better option was just to take the bishop, double the pawns, and establishing my rook on e5. And if queen takes, I directly put my knight on e5, and my knight is a monster basically. This is the best variation for me, but I wasn't able to find it. And if black is careless and try to defend the c6 pawn with the rook, then basically the queen is trapped, so this doesn't work. He tried to push my knight away. This is okay for him, by the way. There's no problem with that, but he blundered right away. He tried to win an exchange, but this is not correct. Better was to just exchange the dark square bishops, try to play a position without the bishops. Realistically, I don't think this is playable for a human because you leave white with basically the whole e-file control, so yeah, I don't think it's very realistic. One of us will go for this line. I was able to save my rook. I find this combination where I attack first the queen, he has to take the bishop with the knight, and then I recapture with the knight. If he takes the rook on e2 with the bishop, I just recapture with the knight and I have 2 pieces for the rook. So he has to take the knight first, as he did, and I just try to push away the bishop, the light square bishop. After the bishop finds a new home on f5, I thought for a bit and I wanted to have a bit of initiative, so I put my queen in a4, just attacking the c6 pawn and still defending the d4 pawn. At this point I was actually pretty sure that we were even. This position with perfect play, of course, is a draw. So I wanted to have a bit of initiative just to see what he does. He found at the end the best move. The best move is just to defend the c6 pawn with the queen. I was struggling to find a new plan for me. I was looking to find new ideas, but I wasn't able to find anything good. So I decided to put the rook on the 7th rank. According with the chess principles, this is okay, but I didn't see clearly how to proceed, to be honest. So fortunately, then he blundered. This is a winning advantage for me. Better was to put the rook on the b file and try to harass my queen. I'm forced to double my pawns, and he is occupying a open file, so this was better for him. Instead of that, in this variation he played, I just decided to blunder right away. At this moment I thought that rook b7 was a good move, but it wasn't. Basically the best was to harass the bishop further and try to double my rooks. Another variation that arises is to leave hanging the pawn on b2 just to maintain active the rooks on the 7th rank. Actually it's a bit tough to give a pawn like this, but yeah, the engine is telling that this is better for white. Anyway, in this position I was able to find the best move. The best move here is to take the rook on b8, and actually the idea is to grab the pawn on b5, but the execution I made is not the right one. I should have taken with knight just to attack the f6 pawn. If king defends, then I just check the king. If the rook defends, in the other hand, I just have a fork, basically. I fork the king and the bishop, and at the end I'm defending the queen. So this is a winning position for me, and if this one happens, then the rook stays active and I'm still attacking the pawn. Everything is falling apart, so yeah, it's a bit tough for him. Instead of that, I just take the pawn with the queen. He recapture, and finally I'm able to give a check again on the 7th rank with my rook. This inaccuracy is very hard to understand. He enters in a potential forking territory. Better was to maintain the king on f8 just to avoid any tactical problems. But instead of that, I just blunder and play b3. Better was to attack directly the pawn, even though I'm leaving the rook a bit active, but according with the engine this is better. In this position was better to attack the pawn, and after bishop takes the pawn, I just have a fork. I fork the queen and the rook. If he tries to run away with the king in h5, he enters in a mating net. So basically this doesn't work for him. He has to give me the rook. We enter an endgame in which I have extra pawn. Of course I have everything to push for. The bad side of things is that I'm actually a bit lower of time, so I'm starting to feel a bit nervous about this. He had basically a minute, and I just have basically 10 seconds to finish up the game. I wasn't liking my chances, but I will still try, of course, to win the game. This endgame with a few seconds on the clock is very tough, really. Even though I'm a pawn up, I think he asked a very, very good questions, which I think I didn't answer very well. According with the agent, this was good, but I think taking the h-pawn is better for me, humanly speaking, just to give me more chances to stay active. My plan was to take the a5 pawn, but in the process I will allow him to stay active with the king and the rook. This position is draw, of course, but I run out of time and lose the game. Just to quickly show the idea to draw this endgame, you just exchange your rook for the h3 pawn, and black will do the same with my pawns. I think we played a very competitive game, but I have to work on my time, as you can see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.